Previously on Scaredy Cats.
Howdy there, Mildo. It's me, Prairie Duke. I'm here to inaugurate Western Month. I am a little uncomfortable with this because cowboys are a way of mythologizing the American frontier. Did you ever consider, Mildo, that perhaps your reflexive need to label every piece of media on the planet problematic has more to do with a deep-seated insecurity about how you are perceived rather than a genuine commitment to social justice? Okay, Jesus, I get it. I'm sorry. Well, good. You get yourself a little costume for next time. We'll call it even. How about that?
And now, Scaredy Cats.
From Dusk Till Dawn is a psychological thriller about a family that has been kidnapped by a pair of bank robbers. And that's all it is. It's nothing other than that. Yeehaw, but also, get along little kiddies. Welcome back to Western Month, except for the first week and last week also, but then after January is over, 2 extra weeks, totaling 1 month worth of videos. Where we're talking about Western-themed horror is the thing that this one's about. This week we're talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, the rootinest, tootinest flick. Now hey, hold up there, Mildew. We gotta talk about today's sponsor, Skillshare. It's an online learning community with thousands of online classes and members all over the world. I've been using Skillshare to learn Adobe After Effects. I was watching this class, Learn Adobe After Effects CC for Beginners by Jordi Vandeput. I don't know if you've ever tried to use After Effects, but it is very intimidating. I really do feel like I've got a handle on the basics now. Plus, this is just like a lot of fun to watch. It was like Beakman's World. Remember Beakman's World? And look, I redid my lower third graphic. It used to look like this. What's this garbage? Now it looks like this. That's more thematic. Now why don't you invest in yourself and join Skillshare to get a head start on the new skill you've been fixing to pick up. They got all sorts of classes you can take. Look at all the horror classes, ad-free. Right now, the first 1,000 people who rustle up this link can join Skillshare for 1 month absolutely free. Sorry, Bobby, did you say for $10,000? No, I did not, Mildew. I said it's 100% free for 1 month. Go learn something. Improve yourself. Get yourself a new skill you didn't have before at Skillshare. Now, Mildew, I can't help but notice that you're not wearing a costume like we agreed upon. What are you talking about? I'm wearing a bandana, like a cowboy. I also can't help but notice you're talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, and that's not really a Western. Doesn't even really take place in the Old West. You could have at least talked about From Dusk Till Dawn 3, which does take place in the Old West. See, what I think is happening here is you're confusing genre convention with genre itself. And I think a lot of people would argue that a Western film doesn't have to be set in the frontier-era West. From Dusk Till Dawn belongs to the modern Western subgenre, where there's a contemporary American setting, but it carries over thematic elements into imagery, like harsh, barren landscapes which suggest a certain ruggedness of those that dwell within, a pervasive lawlessness where characters, often morally gray antiheroes whose dark pasts make them irredeemable in their own minds, are reluctantly forced to solve disputes with violence, and in particular, gunfights.
Oh, okay, I get it. You didn't want to do Western Month. You didn't want to participate.
What are you talking? I am participating. I put on a bandana. You didn't expect me to like go to the costume shop and actually get like a cowboy costume, did you?
No, I guess I didn't. It was my thing, not yours. I guess I don't know. I like Westerns and don't worry about it. Forget about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting the sense that this was maybe more important to you than I realized.
Yeah, well, what else is new?
Hey, come on, that's not fair.
I'm not gonna do this with you right now, okay? Just do your little review, get on with the video.
Are you okay, man? Are we okay?
I said I'm not doing this with you right now. Can you at least respect that? Move on, please.
Okay. From Dusk Till Dawn is a 1996 action horror film directed by Robert Rodriguez and written, also incidentally, co-starring Quentin Tarantino. It tells the story of Seth and Richie Gecko, a pair of bank-robbing brothers who, while on the run from Johnny Law, end up taking hostages of the Fuller family, Father Jacob, which is a pun because he's a pastor, and I know you don't call pastors father, but it's a pun, it counts, and teens Scott and Kate. Seth is inwardly conflicted about his actions and tries to keep the situation calm to avoid any unnecessary violence. He brings the family to a local strip club, where they will simply wait out the night from dusk till dawn and rendezvous with his contact Carlos, who will sneak the geckos across the border into Mexico. Richie, though, there's something wrong with Richie. There's a darkness inside him, and he just wants an excuse to hurt people, to control people. And there's this subplot about Jacob losing his faith in God, how he struggles to believe that a just creator would take his wife from him.
Don't you believe in God anymore?
Not enough to be a pastor.
And that's all the movie is about. That's all of it. If you are not familiar with this movie or this franchise, stop watching this video right now and learn nothing more about it until you see the movie. Avoid knowing anything about this movie as though your life depends on it. Do not look at the poster. Do not look at the DVD cover. Do not ask anyone about it. Do not Google it. Take my word on this. You will thank me for it. I want more than anything to give you the experience of going into this particular movie without knowing the thing about it, the big thing. If I can give that experience to even one person, my time upon this cursed earth will have meant something. Now is your opportunity to leave. Ruin my analytics. I don't care. Do not close the door forever on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity I am giving you. If you at all respect the art form of cinema, go have that experience. Fight for that experience. Feel something. Feel alive just once. Now, everyone who remains and is watching this video knows the thing, the big thing, and it feels good to say, the bar is full of silly monster vampires. The rest of the movie is a goofy, rollicking horror adventure where Tom Savini shoots people with a dick gun. That's not a euphemism, a well and true dick gun. The kickback on his testicles alone. Can we discuss the kickback on Tom Savini's testicles? I have never fired a firearm. I'm Canadian. Guns are hypothetical fantasy weapons to me like a lightsaber would be to you. But I have played many video games which simulate firearms, and often those video games rumble your controller to give a feeling of recoil. That rumble is of course much weaker than a real gun's recoil, but if it were to make contact with my testicles, it would cause me immeasurable pain. Do you grasp the caliber of nonsense we are dealing with here? Putting a gun on master special effects artist Tom Savini's dick is but one of the thousands of bits of silly fun nonsense in this delightful film. This parade of glorious, triumphant frivolity. A movie carefully constructed to let you know that they could have made a more serious thing. They could have told a story about toxic family dynamics and finding redemption in one's responsibility to others. How to hold on to one's principles in the face of overwhelming tragedy, and whether you can ever truly lose those principles. How a healthy, kind environment influences even the most hard-hearted and violent people into trying to be better. What it means to be better. They could make you watch it, and like it. They have the skill to do that, but they don't want to. They wanted a silly nonsense movie, and come hell or high water, that's what they're gonna make. This movie blindsides you with fun. It confronts you and forces you to enjoy yourself, to not take anything too seriously, to be a little playful. For example, in a typical movie, a vampire is very powerful, a threatening figure to be respected and avoided. You don't go off half-cocked against them, pun intended. They will kill you. But what if they were kinda gooey, and you could mess them up pretty easy?
But these vamps, they have soft bodies. The texture of their skin is softer. They're mushier. See, if you hit one hard enough, take their head right off.
Still scary, still dangerous, but you stood a chance. So you could fight back in all sorts of satisfying, fun ways, like blow their head off with a shotgun, or just wreck them with a super soaker full of holy water, or tie a wooden stake to a pneumatic drill. The sky's the limit! Your typical vampire is a sexy, cunning, irresistible manipulator. They draw you in and strike when you're at your most vulnerable. They're subtly menacing, but outwardly placid and eerily pleasant. But what if instead they were a rat monster or a snake woman? What if instead they were very visually interesting and sometimes got to be wet puppets? So that when the vampires come, all sorts of bonkers off-the-wall prosthetics get used, and the rest of the movie is just a fun visual. There's just lots of fucking. Hey, what does it mean for the world if there are vampires? What does that say about our place in the world and the existence of the supernatural? Shut up, nerd!
I don't want to hear anything about I don't believe in vampires. Because I don't believe in vampires. What I believe in my own two eyes, and what I saw is vampires. Now, do we all agree that what we are dealing with is vampires?
It means that there are monsters and you get to have a cool monster fight. None of this is real. You don't care about the bigger implications. Let's skip it. We don't need it. It's not important. In and out. Vampire fights. Movie over. What about the greater lore of this world? What are the rules of the vampires? Stop it. You know vampires. You get it. They hang out in a bar called the Titty Twister. Don't think too hard about any of this. That is not a good name for a strip club. Titty Twisters are not sexy. Imagining that done to an actual set of human breasts is quite distressing to me, actually. Quite a boner killer, to be frank. Do not look for logic here. Let it go. Enjoy the vampires, the mayhem, the dick guns. The speed with which the story goes from a dark, brooding crime drama to a comedic, over-the-top fantasy is something I've not seen any movie ever even attempt, let alone pull off. There's a level of patience and dedication to the bit that you just don't get in movies like this. I can't imagine what it must have been like trying to explain to the higher-ups why they wanted the first act of their movie to be a completely different genre than the rest. Why it might be better not to explain anything about the movie or use any of the expensive special effects in its marketing. It's so well done, it feels like more than a joke, more than simply a bait and switch. There's just simply no other movie that does this. It took two of the most inventive filmmakers of that decade collaborating to manage it once, and even those two filmmakers' future collaborations have fallen short in comparison. What this movie understands is that for the magic trick to work, you need to care about both sides of the movie. You need to get genuinely invested in the crime drama, and you need to enjoy the goofy spectacle. If either of those didn't work, this whole thing would fall apart. You know the phrase, turn your brain off entertainment? The idea that there's art and there is entertainment, the prior being enriching and important, while the latter is simply the fulfillment of some base biological need to be entertained. A rest period, which allows you to recharge your brain batteries and then use them on the important work of watching serious movies. From Dusk Till Dawn feels to me like it's thumbing its nose at this way of thinking, that both of these kinds of movies require the same skill and effort to make, and that both are largely interchangeable. That entertainment, fun, play is valuable in its own right, as valuable as anything else communicated by art. That enjoying silly, absurdist nonsense isn't turning your brain off, it's setting your brain free, letting your brain out of its cage to run around for a while. So this isn't just something we reluctantly must do to be better at doing more important things. Having fun, playing, that's not like pooping. A weakness of the human body we must accommodate in moderation because we lack the fortitude to do serious stuff all the time. And in this analogy, I guess, it's you're weak if you poop too often, is what I'm trying to express. But play is rather one of, if not the most important aspects of being a human being on planet Earth. And I don't know how much of that was intended by the Dick Gun movie. I might be getting all highfalutin about it, but that's how it makes me feel. This movie, to me, feels like, you know when you get a really good laugh? It's that feeling. Joy for its own sake, not mediated by necessity or productivity. And even though there is an extended sequence in the movie where Selma Hayek puts her foot in Quentin Tarantino's mouth that makes me feel profoundly uncomfortable because he wrote the movie and is a weird little creep, I otherwise get inordinate joy from this goofy little movie. And what more could I want than that? Is there anything more than that? Oh, email from Bobby. Probably another chain letter.
Dear Mildo, I will make this brief, as I have never been one for wasted words. By the way, it's me, Bobby Duke, star of the channel. You thought of me when you was high on marijuana edibles, and I'm a Baba Duke. I have felt, for a long time now, that I am not being treated with the respect I deserve. I have been the star of the channel for over a year now, ever since you thought of me while high on a marijuana edible. Remember that? I have carried the weight of this dying, pointless endeavor alone. Unsupported. Consistently, you have treated me like a joke. I mean, I know that I'm literally a joke, but in the sense that I don't feel like my concerns or feelings have been respected. Obviously, I am a joke, I get that, but still, my point stands, I think. So with a heavy heart, I hereby announce that I'm resigning over here, effective immediately. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, but I must walk my own path. Yours truly, Bobby Duke, star of his own destiny. Metaphor for grief. Babadook. P.S. I will maintain my 75% ownership stake and share of the revenue that the channel receives, obviously. I mean, let's not go nuts here, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh no! Is this the end for my working relationship with Bobby Duke? Tune in next week to find out. Same cat time, same cat channel. Also, gotta get my lawyer to look over that contract. That can't be right. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this highly coherent episode. Go ahead and use the link in the description. The first 1,000 people to do it are going to be able to join Skillshare free for 1 month. Learn all sorts of things. Karate, macrame, knitting,